Welcome to another exciting episode in this channel. Today we are going to discuss something that is very, very critical and exciting to people who are looking forward to immigrate to Canada, especially the province of Saskatchewan. We are discussing different routes to come to Saskatchewan. But what is more important, we are discussing how you can come to Saskatchewan without even having a job offer. Watch the video to the end and I will be telling you the particular route that you need to use without getting a job offer. And that is huge. To start, let's see the different routes that are open to you using the SINP, which is the Saskatchewan Immigration Nominee Program. First on the list is the international skilled workers. We're talking about the employment offer route of that segment. What it means is you want to use the international skilled workers with employment offer, you will need to look for a job in Saskatchewan and then proceed to apply. It is open to anyone who is living abroad, or even if you are living in Canada, you can apply for this particular route. But you need to meet all the eligibility profile that are indicated in this particular segment of the program. The next one is the international skilled worker, the tech talent pathway. It's still for international workers, but in this route, you still need to have a job offer. You still need to meet the criteria. You could be living abroad or living inside Canada to make use of these routes. The one is the hard to fill pilot, which is a subset of the international skilled worker program. And the hard to fill caters for jobs that people they are finding it difficult to get people to fill this particular sector in the economy. So what the government of that province does is they look abroad, search for people who have requisite skill and employ this one. But for you to use this route, you need to have a job offer. So in other words, the three routes that I've mentioned now, you need to have a job offer. But the big question for many is, how do I get a job offer? Well, you will need to use the SACS job or the Government of Canada website, which is the job bank, to look for specific jobs in the province. You can check for jobs that are offering LMIA, and the employer will definitely nominate you if they give you the job offer. One thing that many people fail to realize is commitment. Most employers are unwilling to sponsor someone because many people have shown the unwillingness to reside in that particular province for which they were nominated. So that is causing some friction or some reluctance in the part of the employer nominating someone. So if you want to use that route, please commit. At least commit your first 4 years in living in that province. And that will be huge because you would have provided financial support also for the person that is nominating you to that province. If that suits you, go ahead, use the hard to fill pilot, and we'll be seeing you soon in Saskatchewan. The other route we'll talk about is the earth workers route. So for the earth sector, the province of Saskatchewan, they actually had getting people in that particular sector. So they've gone ahead looking for people in the earth sector, recruiting them. Even sometimes in some countries like the Philippines, they've offered certification courses for the nurses to be trained and get their licenses, come over to Canada to complete everything. But if you are not from that particular country, you can still get access to this program. So what you need to do is to create an expression of interest in this sector, which is the international healthcare worker expression of interest. When you do that, the province now match your qualifications with employers. So when employers are looking for someone who matches the skill that you possess, automatically you will be informed, you'll be contacted, and At the end of it, if everything goes well, you'll be recruited and you will be on your way to Canada. As we speak, what are some of the jobs that are eligible for this particular route? I'll just run down some of those. If you have health information management, if you are a public and environment health and safety professional, occupational health and safety specialist, registered nurse and registered psychiatric nurse, chiropractors, nurse practitioners, respiratory therapists, physicians, assistants, midwife and allied health professionals, pharmacists, audiologists, speech language pathologists, psychotherapists, other technical occupation in therapy and assessment, occupational therapists, medical laboratory technologists, medical sonographers, cardiology technologists, pharmacist technician, other medical technologists and technicians, dental technologists and technicians, dental assistants and dental laboratory assistants, licensed practical nurses, paramedical occupation, nurses aid, orderlies and patient associates, psychologists. So if you have any of these qualifications, if you are skilled and you have paper to back this, go ahead, create an expression of interest, and then you will match with employers who are looking for your skill. And like they say, the rest in your case might be history, because you will just be on your way to Canada. We've actually saved the best for the last. Like I did mention in the course of discussion, we are going to show you how you can leave, come to Canada without even having a job offer. All the routes that I've mentioned, you need a job offer at least, or even the government assisting you, matching you with an employer that is looking for you. But for these two last routes that I'm mentioning now, you do not need a job offer. You only need to create an expression of interest. You need to meet the points that are required. And once you are nominated from their monthly or bi-monthly draws, you go ahead, start your application process, and that is it. And that route, the two of them, they are the same, but it's just that one is faster than the other. So we have the international skilled workers, the occupation in demand. There are some positions that they do not have enough persons to fill that job. The list of this job changes at regular intervals. Why is that so? Let's say you have a mechanic. If it is in demand, after some time, if they fill that position, they remove that from the list and add another category, so that you don't have a sector that is overfilled and the other sector is not. So from time to time, it is very, very necessary to check what they call the excluded list. The excluded list is just a list of occupations that are not qualified to use this route as at this time. As at the time you want to make your application, check the excluded list. If your profession is not there, you are good to apply. So in this route, you do not need to live in Saskatchewan. You must be living abroad. You do not need to have a job offer, but you are highly skilled in that in-demand occupation. That is the sweet spot. You do not need a job offer, because having a job offer is difficult, because you need to come up with a Canadian resume, you need to contact an employer, you need to find where to contact the employer, you need to get some requisite certification for you to do that. This takes the zeal out of you. So using the occupation in demand gives you peace of mind. And many persons, this route is huge. The other one is faster, and that is international skilled worker, the express entry. Same thing as the occupation in demand, but in this case, it is the speed. You apply to the province, it nominates you, you take that nomination and apply to the federal, so which is the part 2 of your nomination. But the international skilled workers express entry route means that you are already in the express entry portal at the federal level. So once the province nominates you, gives you a nomination, you have 600 points for your express entry That is the CROS scores. So it increases by 600, meaning that in the next available draw in the federal, that is the IROCC express entry draw, you will be nominated. And guess what? The time frame for express entry, the regular time frame, is just 6 months. From the time you submit, you get your completed application to the time you'll be arriving in Canada is 6 months. So that is just the difference. The time frame of your documentation is just the difference between the express entry, international skilled workers, and the occupation in demand international skilled worker. It is just the time frame. So if everything goes well, for example, express entry in 6 months, you will be landing in Canada. For the occupation in demand, that will take about 18 months, which is almost 3 times that of express entry. But you can always do that. Express entry, like I've always mentioned in my past video, is open for those guys that are young, from 30 to 35, who will score good grades in your IELTS. So if you are above 35, chances are you will not qualify for express entry. But that doesn't mean that you cannot immigrate. Make use of the SINP, the PNP. For Saskatchewan, they are actually looking for people like you. Check the website, see what you score. The SINP is a point grade system, and it requires you to score just 60 points out of 110. So for different levels, education, your work, your language test, ties, that is having whether you have a relation in Canada, in Saskatchewan, as the case may be, there are points allocated for all of these. So if at the end of your check you have 65, you are fine. If you have 60, you're okay. If you have 61, you are still okay. Yeah, but many people will say, no, it is not true. But let me tell you something. I actually scored 61. Yes, I got 61. So it only took some time for me to wait. I was just waiting and looking at the score. And the first time it will be 80. I will say, okay, the next one, it will be for me, it will be 60, it will be 65, it will be 67. I waited for 6 to 7 months, and one day they did a draw of 60. Guess what? I was invited. And the rest, like they say, is history. So long you can score 60 and above, you are fine. You just need sometimes to wait, to patiently wait. And when you are hungry for something, your patience will also elongate to see that you get that actualization of what you are looking for. So go ahead, pick the route you want to go through and create an expression of interest profile. If you are struggling to create an expression of interest profile, I have in my video, I will put the link down in the description section so that you can create the expression of interest, and that will be easy. On the portal, you can also see the excluded list. Make sure that your job is not on the excluded list. Go for it, and then sit down and wait. For you to create the expression of interest profile, you will need your ECA done, which is the Educational Credential Assessment. That needs to be in place. So you are either going to use WES or ICAS, as the case may be, depending on the one you choose. You will need your language test done, either French or English, or both of them combined. If you can do the two and get more score, better for you. If not, just be content with your English score. Like they said, the minimum they are looking for is about 4.5. But as always, strive to aim higher, because you are competing with a lot of persons. So the higher you are, the easier it becomes. If you found value so far, subscribe to the channel, share this video to others who are actually looking for information to immigrate to Canada. Drop your question in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to answer this question. And I'll thank you very much for being there, observing this content that I produce. And I will see you in the next video.